All right. Hello, what's up? It's Gokuma. Um, Welcome to channel, video, whatever. So this is the second YouTube video that I'm making. Um, Actually, by the time you watch this, that I made. So um, the first video that I made was kind of giving a reaction and a bit of analysis and whatnot for the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer that dropped a few weeks ago. I think it's been a few weeks now. So yeah, it was like a month, I think. Anyways, so in keeping with the Spider-Man theme for now, and I swear this isn't going to be like some like Spider-Man YouTube channel, like even though I have like a picture for the moment, I've I've been using a picture of the second Scarlet Spider as my YouTube profile pic, just because like I needed a picture, and like years ago, and that was the one that that I picked. But I should really be changing my picture to something more more personal. But anyways, um so I thought it would be pretty cool to make a tier list for the, or not tier list, but make like a top 10 Spider-Man games for me anyways. Like this is, all based off of my personal preference. Um Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Anyways, yeah, so a few years ago, I started doing a Spider-Man series run um for my Twitch, where I played through practically all the Spider-Man games, going from way back with the Atari 2600, and then all the way to the most recent Spider-Man game, which was Spider-Man 2 that came out just a couple years ago or so. And with that, I thought, yeah, I should probably do. It'd probably be best to do like a top 10 list of Spider-Man games. As I mentioned in the previous video that I made, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I've been reading Spider-Man since I was a kid, and watch tons of like animated series, and movies, and have read so many comics, just so many comics, to the point where it's like they're, especially for the comics I've read like decades ago, like they're all like they're all just melting in on each other, where it's I there's times where it's like I can't differentiate from like what happened in one story to like another, because sometimes um some of these stories happen so close to each other, and um yeah, I don't know, they just meld together, and it's just one big it ends up being like almost like one big story or something. But anyways, yeah, so I'm definitely like a huge Spider-Man fan. And yeah, I mean, he's like one of my favorite characters, if not like the favorite character, I would say. I even got like my Spider-Man shirt going, so that also helped me decide that, you know what, I think today is a good day to do this. Today is the best day to do this. So that being said, all right, so here we have a list of all the Spider-Man games that have come out over the years. When I did the stream and I completed it, that was like about 40 games, like no lie. Like that was like 40 about 40 Spider-Man games that I played. Now, I know this isn't necessarily 40, but you have to keep in mind that a lot of these games have like handheld versions of them. Um, and in all honesty, that's not going to really come into play with this list because like the vast majority of the handheld games they're kind of meh. Like a lot of them suck, a lot of them like are okay. um and but most of them are just like they're just forgettable, if anything. So so that's not really going to be like a factor, and so that cuts out like half the games right there. Because for some of these games, like they came out for the Game Boy Advance or the DS and then the PSP and whatever. So yeah, so that's like a chunk of games that's taken out. But we're still presented with a lot of games though. So I have a lot of games here to get through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go through let me check. All right, I'm going to lower this a bit because we don't need to see me, right? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of these games, and I'm going to put everything that I would consider in a top 10 list over in this row here, and then figure out the top 10 from there. So yeah, we have a lot of games to get through. Um, Spider-Man games have been releasing as far back as the Atari 2600, which is this one here. And there's just been a steady stream of games like ever since. So going from 2600 to the NES, to PlayStation to now. And Spider-Man has like one of the most like this series of games out of all the comic book superheroes, and even like out of a lot of characters or franchises, really. As far as comic book superheroes go, um the only characters that can rival Spider-Man as far as the amount of games that they have is Batman and Ninja Turtles. The one difference, though, with Spider-Man is that for a long time, like we were getting Spider-Man games, and he didn't quite need the assist of like of animated series or movies or anything to help get him games. Like he was just, they were just like, hey, like let's make Spider-Man games. And we've just been flooding the market ever since with Spider-Man games. And to an extent, like same thing with with X-Men. X-Men kind of started getting games without too much of an assist from the series. Though we did have X-Men stuff, like just like we had Spider-Man stuff by the time these games did come out. We've had a few animated series by the time, yeah, we started getting Spider-Man games, but they didn't really like play much of a part in Spider-Man getting his own games. When you look at other characters like Batman or Ninja Turtles, a lot of these characters started getting games because for Ninja Turtles, the animated series, the original series that came out, like all those games, that initial batch of games were like all based on the original series, and when the original series ended, the next batch of Ninja Turtle games were based on the following series. For Batman, he kind of got like some games that came out that weren't really good, but when the first Batman movie came out, that was really when he uh started getting like his own games. So like many of his games were based on the original Tim Burton Batman movie, and then Batman Returns, and then Batman the Animated Series, and so forth. And then, like every now and then, like he would have like his own like original game, but many of his games were based on like some type of property. Whereas with Spider-Man, he didn't start having games based on uh like his other properties until like maybe this one. Maybe this is like a soft maybe, because this one is kind of based on the animated series from the 90s. But really, it's not until we get to like the movies where um it's like, okay, now we're making stuff like based on something else. But still, it's pretty minimal, compared to the rest of his games. So, um, so pretty much his his eras are split into like different like publishers. So, you've had a few different publishers, but the two, actually, well, I guess three main ones if you count like Sony slash Insomniac. But the two biggest ones were LJN and Activision. They were the ones that put out like the most Spider-Man games. If anything, maybe more so Activision, but yeah, I don't know. And the first like few games, like I think there were, like especially like the Atari one, some of the PC stuff. I think that was like other publishers, and you also have a couple Spider-Man games that were actually made by Sega. So, but the bulk of this list is made up of LJN and Activision. All right, so I'm gonna go down the list, briefly talk about each game, and put them up into consideration, if they are so worthy. All right. So first we got this one, Spider-Man, simply just called Spider-Man. This came out for the Atari 2600. And it's the very first Spider-Man game. And if you're familiar with Atari 2600 games, they're usually very very simple games to play. So in this game, you play as Spider-Man, and you can see on the cover, like, you see Green Goblin. And also, I actually own this game. um, but anyways, so in the game, you play as obviously Spider-Man, and you're just trying to like go up a building, by crawling, and I think you can swing, and you're trying to get to Green Goblin, who's like throwing bombs at you from above. And every time you get to the top of the building, like, cool, like now you go to the next level, which is again like a building. And the game kind of, I think, just keeps going like that, as a lot of these games back then tend to do. You're just doing the same shit like over and over and over again. Maybe there's an end, I don't know. But I can only tolerate playing this game because it is just so fucking archaic to to play and to get through. So, um yeah, the fact that this was the very first Spider-Man game, it does make it, like, pretty historical and whatnot. But it's not it it's not a very good game. And of course it's gonna pale in comparison to like damn near everything else that comes out after this. So for that reason, I cannot, like, put this game into consideration, despite the fact that it was like the very first Spider-Man game. So next we got this one. This one is called Spider-Man the Video Game. Um, this one actually came out for the arcade. It was made by Sega. and it was a arcade beat 'em up, featuring 4 players. So you had 4 different characters. You had Spider-Man and Black Cat, which is like, okay, like, of course you have Spider-Man, it's his game. You have Black Cat, which, like, okay, well, she is a Spider-Man adjacent character. Um, but then you have Hawkeye and Namor. Yeah, sit sit with that one for a bit. Like, Hawkeye and Namor, like, why? Um, I think the problem was that many characters around this time were getting like licensed out. Even if games ended up not being made with them. And that maybe that could have been a problem. It could have also been an issue of like maybe the developers not really being too familiar with who the fuck Spider-Man's friends are in the comics, because like we could have, for the last 2 characters, as long as they were available, like, we could have had Captain America, like they're friends. We could have had, my mind's blanking all of a sudden. Okay, no, sorry. All right, we could have had Prowler, we could have had Daredevil, we could have had Punisher, we could have had Luke Cage, we could have had Iron Fists. Um, and I'm sure there's like many more that I can't think of at the moment. Like Human Torch, characters who are known as being friends of Spider-Man. Um, but no, we got Hawkeye and Namor. I I don't know, man. I don't know, but regardless, this was actually like a pretty cool beat 'em up. Oh, and also Venom. We could have had Venom, but he does show up in this game, but he's a boss. He's a boss. And plus I think this came out, sorry, get myself like adjusted here. Anyways, but yeah, it would have been cool like if he was a playable character. But yeah, so this game is totally your traditional beat 'em up. You're just going around beating the shit out of um, out of enemies, and you have boss fights featuring Spider-Man's known rogue of enemies. So I mentioned Venom, Green Goblin. Um, I think Kingpin is in this game. I want to say Kingpin is in this game, but I could be thinking of Punisher. I know for sure, but like, Kingpin is in the Punisher game. Kingpin could be in the Spider-Man game too. I'm not positive. But even Doctor Doom shows up. Like, even Doctor Doom, Doc Ock shows up, Electro shows up, and what's also cool about this game is that um, for a beat 'em up, so you have like the beat 'em up sections, right? And then the game will cut to like this like platform, uh I don't know, contra type thing. So like each of the characters will during this part, they can um like they have, like, they can shoot stuff. Like they can do range attacks. So of course, Spider-Man shoots webs, um Hawkeye shoots arrows, Namor shoots electricity. I don't think that's a thing. Is it? I don't think so. Has he ever been able to shoot electricity? Whatever. Putting too much thought into this. And Black Cat has her grappling hook. So yeah, and it's really interesting that this game will go from beat 'em up, and then you have like these platforming stages, and then go back into beat 'em up, and it actually works. Like, those parts of the game like are not bad, like, at all. Like, they're actually like pretty all right. Of course the beat 'em up parts are really great and the best part of the game, but the platforming sections, like, nah, they work pretty well. So so yeah, with that being said, I did really enjoy this game. It is unfortunate that the game was was never released on anything outside of the arcade. Like, it is locked to the arcade. Of course, you know, you can play it on emulators and stuff, but yeah, it's never been formally released on anything else. And it's a shame because it is a really cool game. So we're definitely going to be putting that up for consideration. Next, we have The Amazing Spider Man. I'm pretty sure with this one, it's one of the PC ones. So here, there's actually three PC Spider Man games, but they're actually not all on this list. Not that it matters, because none of them are going to go up for consideration. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this one is the one, might be the one where I think it's like in first person, and you're just like kind of like moving from room to room, and you're just like searching for stuff, and you're making choices and decisions, and then things happen, and then you have to like choose what to do next, and things like that. It's a very archaic game. It's also a very ugly game, and I tried playing for a few minutes, and I was like, nah, fuck this shit. So I think that's what this game is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. The other game is this game where it's a platform forming game, but it's kind of like a platform puzzle game. I don't recall if there's like enemies you fight or anything, but it's so the main villain's supposed to be Mysterio, and you're supposed to be like trying to get through like his stages that he's made. And that one I did try playing. I got a little ways into it, but I got to a point where like I got stuck. But it was one of those things where, you know, if you played PC games from back in the day, games like this, there would be a lot of times where you would get to an area, or you get to something where it's like you would get stuck at, but you can't like return to where you came from. Like, you're just stuck there, and like that's it. That's just game. So once that happened, I was like, yeah, fuck this. And I moved on. So of course, like, those games will not be under consideration. Next, we got this game. This is actually Spider-Man and Captain America, Doctor Doom's Revenge. So in this game, you can play as both Spider-Man and Captain America, and it's a, you know, like, it's a side scrolling game. It's really bad. It's really shit. Like, it's really slow. Combat is really slow. I tried playing it, and after a few minutes it was like, yeah, no. No, I'm not dealing with this. We're moving on. Next we got the Amazing Spider-Man versus the Kingpin. So this was actually made by Sega. This came out for the Sega Genesis as well as the Sega CD. I If you've never played this game, I totally recommend it. And if you do, play the Sega CD version of of the game, because there's like some enhancements and whatnot. Hold on, I have a message. Okay, I have no idea what she's trying to say. Yeah. So, anyways, so yeah, so this was the other game made by Sega, and in this game, it's a it's a 2D side scroller platformer. You know, you go around like beating up like criminals and whatnot. Um, you know, going through these stages. You fight, bosses such as obviously Kingpin. He's the final boss. But also, I think you see Sandman, Electro. I believe Venom shows up as well. And and what was also kind of interesting with this game is that your webbing is limited. So it's like one of the few Spider-Man games where your webbing is limited. And you can get refills. Um, so in the game, you can take pictures, and I think maybe they took this. I think they got rid of this maybe for the Sega CD version. I don't know, or maybe both versions have. I don't know. Anyways, you can take pictures, right? And if you take pictures with like stuff going on, like especially bosses and whatnot, or things like you get more money, and then that money transfers into getting like more webbing. So it's kind of interesting that they did that. Um, so this game, it actually was a pretty cool game. Um, and of course, games back then were kind of a pain in the ass to play through. But this one wasn't too bad until you got to like the very end where you had to fight Kingpin and you had Mary Jane who was tied up and being lowered into, I think, like a vat of acid or some shit. And if she went in to the thing while you're fighting Kingpin and you don't beat Kingpin in time, then she obviously, of course, she dies, but also that's auto game over. Like auto game completely fucking over. It doesn't matter how many lives you have or whatever. Like, nah, game is over, and you gotta start over. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But other than that, it from what I remember, it was a pretty cool game. So all right. So next we have the three Spider-Man Game Boy games. Yeah, nah, these games like are just they're all completely fucking forgettable. Like I can't tell you shit about them because they're just that forgettable and or that bad. So yeah, moving on to Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six. Also, this starting with this officially starts the LJN era of Spider-Man games, in which um most of these games were pretty bad. Most of these games were pretty bad. So yeah, so we have Spider-Man Return of Sinister Six. This came out for the NES, and it was yeah, this game wasn't very good either, and also like a very forgettable game. So yeah, so that's not going up for consideration. Next we got Spider-Man and the X-Men Arcade's Revenge. This fucking game. So I asked for this game for a Christmas present, and I got it because I mean it's a game with Spider-Man and the X-Men. Where could you possibly go wrong with that? Well, things can go very, very wrong. And they did. They totally went wrong. So I don't know why. I think because like I was just like a stupid fucking little kid. for some reason when I saw like Spider-Man and X-Men Arcade's Revenge, for some reason I was thinking like, either like this was like a gonna be like a beat 'em up game, or like this was gonna gonna have like the Spider-Man arcade game and the X-Men arcade game like in one package or some bullshit. I don't know. But of course, I got this game and it's probably one of the biggest like Christmas disappointments a child could get. Um so this game is a 2D platformer. The game starts out with you playing as Spider-Man, and you Spider-Man sees the X-Men getting captured by Arcade, and you have to go find them. So you play through the first level until you get to where they are captured, and then you free them, but now they have to get through Arcade's stages. And so you play as each of the characters who have like their own subtle levels, and you have to complete those levels to try to complete the game. Um, and each character you play as, like their levels, their level design is quite a is like quite a bit different. Um, even like how like they look, how the even like it affects even the art design. Like it was like they just let like completely different like people or teams or whatever like make like each sets of these levels. So so first you had Spider-Man. His levels of course were like very like climbing or web swinging related. His level design, it was usually like he was like in buildings or like construction buildings, stuff like that. And I of course like each of these levels like you fight his bosses and stuff. I don't remember who showed up in his, but um and you had to like find bombs if I'm not mistaken, or sensors or something, or I don't know, whatever. And your his spider sense would help you like track them down. You then had Cyclops. You had Cyclops. Cyclops's levels took place in like a mine shaft or something, and you like rode on mine carts from time to time in the level. You're also walking around like on foot, stuff like that. And of course, like Cyclops can like shoot stuff. He shoots his lasers. I don't remember if he was limited in his lasers. I keep saying lasers. I know they're not fucking lasers. I'm just saying they're fucking lasers, okay? So don't fucking come at me, okay? I know like his fucking beams come from the goddamn punch dimension, all right? So back the fuck off. Anyways, um yeah, so like, he just be shooting, fucking beams from the punch dimension. Uh uh but I don't recall if like he was like limited, and then you had to like find like crystals to like recharge your shit or something. I don't know. It was stupid. I think his bosses were the Sentinels. Um and then you had Wolverine. Wolverine's levels took place in like I don't know, like some type of clown fun house of generational trauma. I still remember like the fucking laughs of the enemies that the enemies make. That shit does not go away, like ever. Like once you hear those evil laughs, like those evil clown laughs, like um, especially repeatedly, yeah, no, they're just with you for life. It's the type of thing where you go to bed, think everything's okay, and then all of a sudden, like, just hear those laughs, and you just suddenly like wake up in a cold sweat, and yeah, yeah, things I gotta deal with to this day. Uh, so with Wolverine, of course, he, it's a hack and slash. He can take out his claws. He can You can also retract his claws, and it will bring like your health back up. His levels aren't like really too bad. I think his first boss is Apocalypse. It's the second boss that's a huge fucking issue because his second boss is Juggernaut. And to beat Juggernaut, what so the way that this is designed is that you have Juggernaut chasing you, and Wolverine, as Wolverine, like you have to kind of like run away from him. You know, you cannot let him like hit you, or it's just like it's just game over. But while he's chasing you, there's like these weights and stuff that you can like cut, and they will fall and hit him, and like every time he gets hit it slows him down, and then you're supposed to go and like hit him like a bunch of times for a bit before he speeds back up. And I think there was something that maybe like if you cut the weight like and you got and it landed right on his head, like it would deal more damage as opposed to like it just landing on the ground and then him just running into it. Like I think, I don't know, but this is a pain in the ass because you have to hit him with practically every single one of those weights while you're running away from him, going through obstacles, and also trying to hit him a bunch of times. Like you had to hit him like a gazillion times just for him to die. It is a pain in the fucking ass boss fight. Uh, Next, and also it's probably like a huge choke point for a lot of people who like played this game and probably tried their best to beat it, because it definitely was for me. Um, you had Storm, fucking Storm. You know what levels they gave this poor woman? Swimming levels, fucking swimming levels. Yeah, so you can imagine how horrible playing through that is, because yes, it was pretty bad. It was pretty fucking bad. And then last you have Gambit. Gambit's levels were kind of like Contra type levels, except that you're always like in a rush or chased around by things or something. And of course, like you threw his cards around, but like they kind of sucked like to throw them, because I think from what I remember, like they didn't really go very far, or like he kind of like threw them like awkwardly. Like I think like he would throw them and it would like arch up a bit, and I don't know, it was really stupid. And then I mentioned like the level design. I mean the art design would vary. So like I think like Spider-Man's art design, I feel like it was very dark. Um but Spider-Man himself was like a little bit more detailed. I think for Cyclops, I think like in his levels for his sprites were like were a bit bigger and brighter and detailed, despite the fact that they're in a mine shaft, but whatever. Wolverine, his sprite was like really small and not like as detailed. Which is weird. Cyclops, I mean not Cyclops, Gambit, was kind of like in between, but like um but his design wasn't like as detailed as Cyclops or Spider-Man was. Storm by far had like the biggest character sprite. Like she had like a really long like character sprite. Not that it fucking mattered, because all she could do is like fucking swim. So she probably had like the biggest and most detailed character sprite, but like all she can do is fucking swim. So that's probably why. Yeah, so this was a fucking shit game. This was a complete dog shit game. So this ain't going fucking anywhere. It's just staying here. This next game though. This next game, very interesting. because all right, so Amazing Spider-Man Lethal Foes is a Spider-Man game that only came out in Japan. Obviously it was not made by LJN or anything. I don't know who it was made by, but I don't know, for whatever weird ass reason, it was made exclusively in Japan and never released outside of Japan. You can play it through, emulation, of course, and there's fan translations and stuff. Um, but that Lethal Foes is actually a pretty all right game. The the only problem that I have with the game is that it is like very short, and for a game that's already short, like it rushes you because like each level you are timed. So of course, now you have yeah, blah, can't fucking talk. Anyway, so of course you're going to rush through these levels to beat the time. So that's probably like one of my biggest gripes with the game is that it makes it become like a very short experience. But the game itself like is pretty alright. Like it is like a pretty decent game. It is pretty cool. It's by the numbers platform or whatever, but I think by this point this is definitely like at the level of the Sega Genesis one. If anything, maybe people might consider this better than the Sega Genesis one. So that's definitely going up for consideration. All right, next we got Spider-Man. This one was based on the animated series. Yeah, no, this game sucks. It's a 2D platformer and it sucks. It like fucking sucks. Game just it looks bad, it plays bad, it is bad. So, all right, next we got Maximum Carnage. So, this game was kind of like a big deal when it came out, and surprisingly, this was uh yeah, this was the only good LJN game. This is the only good Spider-Man LJN game that came out. Like they actually put effort into this fucking game. So Maximum Carnage, when it came out, and this was a game that I also asked for Christmas, and thank God it ended up being a good game. But the Maximum Carnage game came when it released. It came out to a red cartridge. Like that was pretty cool. There weren't Super Nintendo cartridges were almost always gray. Very rarely would they be another color. And this was like one of the extremely few games where the cartridges were in another color. So you got like this cool red cartridge. And so for the game itself, it was based on off of the Maximum Carnage storyline that happened around this time in the like early to mid 90s. And the way that the story was told was they would straight up like take panels from the comic to tell the story. And that was really cool. And as far as the game itself goes, it was a beat 'em up where you start out like playing as Spider-Man, but after a few levels, you get the option of okay, do you want to continue playing as Spider-Man or do you want to play as Venom? And at this point, this was the first time you get to play as Venom. Uh, Probably the one thing that is a disappointment with this game is that it's not a co-op game, unfortunately. But there's probably reasons why that we'll explain when I get to the next game. But that's probably like the one disappointing thing. Other than that, the game is really good. Graphics are good. Music. The fucking music is great. Um, they got Green Jelly to do the music for the game. To they did the intro song for the game, and also they have a song, like an actual song called Green Jelly. It's called Carnage Rules, and I totally recommend to check it out. It's an actual song that from the the intro song from Maximum Carnage, but like this is like an actual song with lyrics and everything, and it's a pretty cool song. It's actually one of my favorite songs. Um, but yeah, no, but this game is like pretty great like throughout. It is also a really difficult game to play through. I can't beat the game without cheating. I've made it pretty far, but yeah, no, the game is like stupid difficult. But it was also a lot of fun to play. So, for sure, this is definitely going under consideration. Maximum Carnage. Next, we got Separation Anxiety. So, Separation Anxiety actually serves as the sequel to Maximum Carnage. It's also a very disappointing sequel. So, this game does give you. All right, so first off, like, look at the cover art. Like, the Maximum Carnage cover art is like fucking peak. This shit, like, just looks fucking lame. Anyways, they did address the issue of co-op. So this game is a two-player co-op. Someone plays as Spider-Man, the other person plays as Venom, but the graphics took a huge hit. The Yeah, the graphics do not look as good as Maximum Carnage. The character sprites do not look like as detailed or anything. And yeah, no, just everything about the game like sucks and is a disappointment. It's also extremely repetitive game as well. And you don't want to feel, when you're playing a beat 'em up, you don't want to feel that it's repetitive because all you're doing in a beat 'em up is just beating the shit out of people, and you do not want to feel like beating the shit out of people is repetitive. uh, Unfortunately, yeah, no, this game feels really repetitive, and yeah, no, it's a huge disappointment compared to Maximum Carnage. I rather fucking play Maximum Carnage by myself than to play Separation Anxiety with a friend. Friends don't let friends play Separation Anxiety. So that's definitely not going up for consideration. All right, next we got this game. Amazing Spider-Man Web of Fire. This came out for the 32X. And I don't know. I don't remember much about the game. It's a pretty forgettable game. I'm pretty sure it's also a pretty bad game as as well. Yeah, there's like nothing really to talk about here. I don't know. I don't remember it being a very good game at all. So, yeah, this isn't going anywhere. I don't know what this is. This is Spider-Man the Sinister Six. I have no idea what the fuck this is. I do not recall this game at all whatsoever. So, whatever it is, I'm sure it sucks. But it may not be a game. Um, I don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. You know what? Maybe I'll look it up. Hold on. All right. So Spider-Man. My phone's being really slow. There we go. Okay. All right. So Spider-Man, the Sinister Six game. All right. So of course the NES one comes up. Oh wait, here we go. No, it's something that came out in 1996. Hold up. What is this? What is you? Yeah, no idea what this is. I just there's pictures, but I have no idea what the fuck it is. Oh, I think I've seen this game. Oh, okay. Okay. It's a PC game. That's why I couldn't play it because I don't know. It was like it was like some point and click adventure type game, and it looked really bad and really stupid. And yeah, yeah, um, yeah. Um, I did see some of this game before, and yeah, no, this game like sucks. It's like it's fucking garbage. Yeah, it's basically it's practically a point and click Spider-Man game. Like that's what this game is. So, anyways, all right. So with that, that's the end of the LJN era of Spider-Man games. Now we're gonna get into the Activision era of Spider-Man games, starting with Spider-Man for the PS1. Spider-Man for the PS1 is one of my favorite Spider-Man games. Like for sure, I would think this is gonna be in my top five, maybe. No, I'm pretty sure this has to be this has to end up in my top five because this is one of my favorite Spider-Man games, and this game was such a big deal when it came out. So this was developed by Neversoft, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater people, and this was also the first 3D Spider-Man game. And we had a Spider-Man game where it's 3D, 3D like level design. You can web swing, you can crawl around when you're inside like buildings. You can crawl around in ceilings. The fighting, the combat. You had voices, you had cutscenes. Like this was like a fully fleshed out game, and it ended up being like really good. It was a really, really good game. Had a really great story and cast and cameos. Yeah, this game was just so much fun to play. I played this game so many times after I got it, and yeah, it was a great game. So of course, yeah, we're definitely putting this under consideration. Um, Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this game, which is Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro. This is a direct sequel to the previous game, but it I think it was made by a different team. I don't think it was made by Neversoft. And this game was just a huge step back from the first game, and it was missing a lot of the charm and the things that made the previous game like such a great and memorable experience. Yeah, it's it's all right, but it's so much of a disappointment that I can't even put it under like consideration. So then you have this one, Spider-Man 2 Sinister 6. This is the Game Boy Advance sequel to to the Spider-Man game. It's a fucking handheld game, so it's fucking forgettable. I don't remember anything about it, so it has to be forgettable. Same thing with this one. You have Spider-Man Mysterio's Menace. Um Actually this could have been the actual first one, but I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's another forgettable handheld game. And now we're going to get into his movies. So next you have Spider-Man. based on the first movie. So basically they took what they were doing with the previous Spider-Man games, but now this is on PS2, um, and this is based on the movie, and you have better graphics and whatever. The game was it was all right. Like it wasn't bad at all or anything. And I think what I also liked was because one of the criticisms for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is that they didn't really write him like any much in the way of like jokes or quips or anything. But in these games, like they do, which is kind of cool. So the first Spider-Man movie game, it's all right. It's not bad or anything, but it's not. Unfortunately, it's not good enough to put under consideration. Maybe. You know what? Fuck it. We'll put it under consideration. Spider-Man 2. This is where whoever's watching this, if whoever's watching this, ha- first off, anyone that who is watching this, they're watching it because they played Spider-Man games, they're a fan of Spider-Man games, and to like, I don't know, 99% of the people who play these Spider-Man games who have played Spider-Man 2, they fucking love this game. They fucking swear up and down about this game. It's the fucking greatest Spider-Man game like fucking ever. And no, 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 it is not. The only thing good about this game is it the open world web swinging. Like that was fucking great. That was fucking revolutionary. And that's where the good points end. Everything else about this game sucks. Like fucking combat sucks, bosses suck. Whenever you are inside somewhere, level design sucks. Story was pretty all right. I thought the movie story was better told in this game than in the movie itself. And Black Cat is a part of the story. So Uh, yeah, so the story was actually pretty good, but everything else about the game is like it's very lackluster. The game is also incredibly short. You can beat it in a few hours, and that's it. You're done. It's a pretty bare bones game. It's a game that's practically carried by the fact that this is an open world Spider-Man game, and that's it. They didn't make a game to back that up. They kind of just threw stuff in there. Of course it follows the story of the movie, but that was basically it. So I do not care for the Spider-Man 2 game at all, so it's not even good enough to be consideration. If I were to put a Spider-Man 2 up for consideration, it would actually be the PSP version of the game. So unlike all the other shit ass handheld versions of these games, the Spider-Man 2 PSP game was actually kind of cool. So the PSP game was way different than the main console versions. The PSP version followed what the other Spider-Man games are doing, like Spider-Man 1 or the ones before it. So you have this game where you have level design and whatnot, and it was a completely different game and experience compared to the main console one. So Spider-Man 2 for the PSP, like I actually thought was kind of cool. So I would put it up for consideration, but then people are just gonna think of like the fucking PS2 game, and it was like no, I'd rather play a fucking PSP one than the PS2 one. So yeah, this is where I'm gonna lose people. That's even if they watch this far, they probably don't. I've seen I've seen my analytics, like y'all be dropping after the 2 minutes. So you know what? I'm not worried then. Like no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. Spider-Man 2 sucks. This game sucks. It's fucking garbage. You can't. The only good thing you can say about this game is web swinging. That's it. That's it. So you know what? This game sucks, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're not going to make it this far into the video. It's just what it is, and I'm confident in that fact. Next, Ultimate Spider-Man. Okay, this is definitely like one of the best Spider-Man games, like the PS1 Spider-Man game. This is based off of the Ultimate Spider-Man comic. So it takes a lot from it, like its art design. It looks like a comic and everything. Um, its story, which is canon to the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. And if you haven't read, totally fucking recommend. It's a great series, and yeah, it's just everything that made like this Spider-Man game like fun and everything. Like that's what this game felt like. Yeah, it was just it was a great game, and it took everything that they did with Spider-Man 2 and improved on it so fucking much. Like this was a fucking game. This was a full fucking game. And yeah, definitely one of the best. So let's go in here. Next, we got Spider-Man Battle for New York. I believe, this was a prequel to the Ultimate Spider-Man game, and but it came out for the 3DS and it sucked. So moving on. I don't know what this is. Hyperscan. It must have been like some gimmicky device that came out back in the day. I have no idea like what the fuck this is. Um, then we have our last Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. We got Spider-Man 3. Um, so the consensus is people hate this game. They hate this game. I actually really like this game. I thought this game was fun. Yes, it is a little janky and stuff. Graphics aren't really all there, but for me, the game itself was actually like kind of fun and interesting to play through. The story of the game, the way that they told the story was a lot better than what they did with the movie. If they told, if we got the story of the game as the movie, like yeah, no, we wouldn't have been giving Spider-Man 3 shit this whole time. Would it be better than, would people consider it better than Spider-Man 2? Like, I don't know. Maybe. It's a possibility, but um unfortunately, no, the movie story sucked. But for the game story, like the way they told it is different and is a lot better and is actually really good. No stupid Toby dancing or bully Maguire or whatever the fuck. Um, so yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed this game. So I'm actually gonna put that under consideration. But not you, Spider-Man 2, because you know what? Fuck you. And there's nothing you can do about it because you're not gonna get this far into the video. So next, Spider-Man Friend or Foe. So this is kind of like a kitty 3D beat 'em up is the best way that I can explain it. It's a very simple and easy game to play through. It's kind of like, I think it's just really like designed with like, just kids. Like this is for like just fucking little kids to just bun mash their way through. But the game honestly was kind of fun. I actually enjoyed playing through this game, and as you progress through the game, you unlock other villains like Green Goblin, Venom, Doc Ock, but also other heroes like Iron Fist and even Blade and Black Cat, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so and also it's co-op, and yeah, it's a pretty fun game. It's a pretty fun game. It's just a dumb good time. So definitely putting that under consideration. Next, we got Spider-Man: Web of Shadows. What was cool about this game was you get to use the symbiote suit. So you get to switch between using the your red and blue suit or using the symbiote suit, and the game had choices and stuff that you made throughout the game. The gameplay was also really was pretty good. Like combat was really good. They really also focused on aerial combat. um and yeah, like story was pretty all right. I think one of the things I didn't like was I remember not liking whoever the fuck they got to voice Spider-Man. um his voice was pretty bad, to be honest. Other than that, the game is a pretty cool game. And the game also features multiple endings based on each suit. So because it's based on the choices you made throughout the game. So you have a good red and blue suit ending, you have a bad red and blue suit ending, you have a good symbiote ending, and you have a bad symbiote ending. Typically in the good versions of the ending, like for the red and blue, you end up being with like Mary Jane. In the symbiote ending, you end up being with Black Cat. So I always got the symbiote ending because yeah, we're totally shipping Black Hat in this house. So um so that's definitely going up for consideration. Um damn, I've been talking for like a fucking hour. All right. Let's finish this shit up. Next we got, where was I? Okay, I think this one, I can't read what it says from here, but I'm gonna assume that this is like the PSP version or something because I remember playing it. Yeah, it was all right, but again, it's like another forgettable experience. Shattered Dimensions, yeah, for sure. This is one of the best Spider-Man games. Shattered Dimensions goes back to being having Spider-Man games be more about level design. So this Spider-Man game is not open world at all. In this game you play as four different Spider-Men. Spider-Man 2099, our mainline Spider-Man, Spider-Man Noir, and Ultimate Spider-Man. And each one has four levels of their own. And what was really cool was that so first off, the level design was really good, and each Spider-Man has like their own like gameplay elements, their own way that they do combat, and even their own art design would be like wildly different between between like each one. Um, so yeah, like and also story was pretty good. So yeah, no, for sure. Like this is one of the best Spider-Man game, and also like the cast that they got was also like really good. Like you had Neil Patrick Harris play as Spider-Man, you had Christopher Daniel Barnes of '90s Spider-Man play Spider-Man Noir. So next you have Edge of Time, which kind of in a way was like a sequel to Shattered Dimensions, but you only play as our mainline Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099. But this game was like a huge disappointment. Story in the game was really good. Like it had a really good story. And of course, combat was like all right and stuff. But other than that, yeah, no, it wasn't a very good game. The whole game takes place in a building where you play through a past version of the building and then a future version of the building. And you don't have like many enemies that you fight through. You only have like a few bosses you fight throughout the game. Um, like honestly, not even a lot. Like I think the bosses you fight, like maybe you can count it with like less than a hand. Like yeah, you might be able to count like in one hand, and you could probably like cut a finger or two off, and you still have enough. Yeah, so I remember this game just being a huge fucking disappointment compared to Shattered Dimensions. Yeah, this game was like a huge disappointment for me, so this is not going up for consideration. Then we got Amazing Spider-Man. So Amazing Spider-Man um is based off of the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield, and this was the first one. This came out around the time of, after Batman Arkham Asylum came out. So this game's combat borrows heavily on Batman Arkham Asylum, which is a good thing. The game was actually pretty good. I actually did enjoy playing this game. Combat had a lot to do with it. What was also cool was that the game had its own story. It took place after the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. Um, and yeah, no, it was a pretty cool game. So honestly, I would put that up for consideration. But then we have Amazing Spider-Man 2. So for whatever fucking reason, they, instead of taking everything they did with the first Amazing Spider-Man game and just moving it to a sequel and just improving upon it, instead they made like a whole new gameplay engine where you needed like both triggers to like swing around, and the game sucked. Like it just fucking sucked. Like everything sucked. Web swinging sucked, combat sucked, like story sucked, like everything sucked. Just like the previous game, it takes place um like I think this game takes place maybe before the movie. So I think it takes place before the movie, if I'm not mistaken. Um for a second movie. I think the main villain ends up being Carnage. Even though like there's no like Venom or anything, like I don't know, man. This game is just weird and it sucks. And what's also annoying is that as you progress through the game, because like Spider-Man is a vigilante and he's like wanted by like the police or whoever or whatever government agency, and as you progress in the game, like they get like more and more intense with it, so it's like you don't get to like you can't enjoy being in the open world. So yeah, this game sucks. It's also very buggy, like really really buggy. Next we got the three Marvel, Sony, Insomniac games. And yeah, do I really need to talk about these games? Do I really need to fucking talk about these games? So they're all going under consideration. Then we got Ultimate Spider-Man Total Mayhem. I'm this might be like a mobile game. I think this is a mobile game. I don't know. This one is definitely a mobile game. Spider-Man Unlimited. This game I actually played. So this was one of those like tunnel, like temple runner type of games where I don't play those type of games like ever. This was the only one that I ever did because it was fucking Spider-Man. But this game was actually cool. Like it was a lot of fun. Um, as you play and progress, you unlock other Spider-Man variants, and there's a lot of variants you can unlock. And also like it had a pretty cool story as well. So it was a pretty cool game. It ended up getting shut down, like a year or so after it was released, but no, it was a pretty cool game. I did have some fun with it, but it's not going up for consideration because it's a fucking mobile game. So with that being said, there you have it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Damn. All right. So for us to have a top 10, I gotta get rid of five of these games. So all right. Um Spider-Man the arcade game, that's staying. Spider-Man versus the Kingpin. Hmm. Because this and Lethal Foes. I think they're gonna have to go. So yeah. So I think it's gonna have to go. They're both really good games. I recommend playing them. Especially the Kingpin one, like play on the Sega CD. Sega CD version. Maximum Carnage is definitely staying. For sure this one is staying. I don't know about this Spider-Man game. If anything, I don't know about this one and Spider-Man 3. So okay, I'm gonna get rid of Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3. So now we're down to one. We're down to one more Spider-Man game that I gotta get rid of. I think it's gonna come down to either Spider-Man Friend or Foe or the Amazing Spider-Man game. Um, I think I'm gonna have to get rid of Friend or Foe. As fun of a game that it is, you know, it's just a kitty beat 'em up. You know, it's a pretty simple game. It's a fun game, you know, but it's a pretty simple and basic game to play through. So, yeah, so I believe that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we got 10. Hmm. So now here's the hard part. Fuck. The fuck do I put? What do I start? What do I? How do I do this? How do I do this? All right. So what is number 10? What is number 10 gonna be? Um. Hmm. Okay. I think for number 10, I think number 10 will be easy. Because I feel like number 10 will probably be maybe the Amazing Spider-Man game. Yeah. I think the first Amazing Spider-Man game will be number 10. All right, cool. Cool. And then let's see, now number 9. What number 9 be? Okay. I think number 9 would come down to between this arcade game and Maximum Carnage. So, which of these do I like more? Honestly, like, you know, as cool as Maximum Carnage is in a lot of ways, I think I have to give the edge to the Spider-Man arcade game because the graphics in it is like they're amazing. The amount of like bosses that you get, um, you know, that you don't get in Maximum Carnage. So, and the fact that it's multiplayer, play up to with 4 of your friends. So, so number 9, I'll give to Maximum Carnage, and then number 8 will be the Spider-Man arcade game. All right, so now this is where things I think get a little difficult. I think for number 7 though, I think Spider-Man Web of Shadows will be number 7. All right. So now, oh, this is the tricky part. Huh. I mean, Sonic. Okay, so, damn. Okay, so I said this game was going to show up on top 5, and I don't know. Does it really go at top 6? All right. You know what? Let's move up all these games really quick because I got to scroll up anyways. So, damn, does that mean like all 3 of the Insomniac Spider-Man games are really going to show up on the top 5? I mean, it makes sense. But does that mean like are they going to be top 3? All right. So, maybe Spider-Man for the PS1 might be number 6. And then if it's number 6, then what the fuck does that mean with for the other games? Because I mean, Ultimate Spider-Man game is a fucking awesome game. It's a fucking great Spider-Man game. Same thing with Shattered Dimensions. Like if you fucking love Spider-Man, like this fucking game. And of course the Insomniac Spider-Man games, like they're all really good. And I like I like them all, even though people have been giving them shit the last few years, especially Spider-Man 2. But I know I actually really like Spider-Man 2. This is the one Spider-Man 2 that I like. So but it's like how high up the list does it go? Shit. Fuck. This sucks. Okay. All right. You know what? No. I said that this was going to be a top 5 and at the very least it is going to be a top 5. But for sure I'm going to put Insomniac Spider-Man at number 6. Um, it's a really cool game, of course. Great game, like great combat, graphics, like story is pretty good. But I also so it has a very strong start to the game when like the opening. The opening is like fucking great. But I do feel like the game kind of does drag a bit. Though there are cool parts, but I still feel like the game kind of drags a bit in the middle before it starts picking up again towards the end. And you also have like some really like great scenes and whatnot. But I'm gonna put that for number 6. So then for number 5, does that mean we have this in our top 5 and that's cool, that's all that matters, or is something else going on in the top 5? um I think it comes down to like, okay, what do I like more? Do I like the Insomniac games, or do I like these earlier Spider-Man games? Because like each of these games, the earlier games were like there's something really special about them when they came out, at the time that they came out. The Spider-Man game, the first Spider-Man game for PS1, like being like this first like 3D Spider-Man game, and it's a good game. Like I know like I put it above the Insomniac Spider-Man game despite the fact that it's not an open world game. Combat is not close to being as good as all at all. But it's a really fun game to play, and it was such a big deal like when the game came out. And it's it, it's just I totally recommend to play it. Ultimate Spider-Man, that one, yeah, that one's an open world game. Yeah, combat is not going to be as good as the Insomniac ones, but it doesn't need to have combat as good as those games anyways, because that game was really cool. And Shattered Dimensions, yeah, no, the combat I would say is different than the Insomniac ones, and I would not say like it's bad at all. Like it's the combat is just completely different because you're not in an open world setting, but it is different in the same way, like I don't know, like a stylish action type of game. So okay, so this is what I'm doing. Hold up, this is what I'm doing. Boom, putting the Insomniac Spider-Man games all in the middle. Um, This is where people it's the Spider-Man 2s, man. This is where I lose people, but it's okay because for sure no one's gonna get this far into the video. Um, so with Miles Morales, I felt like, of course, the gameplay is good, but I also really liked the story. I thought the story was really, really good in this game. So I that's why I put it like above this one. I know everyone is going to put this game above Spider-Man 2 at the very least by far, but for me, I really, really like Spider-Man 2. I felt like it was a well done and well paced game, and it also addressed a lot of issues that I had with like the first game. So when people go online and they complain and everything about Spider-Man 2, I legit have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. I just don't. Like uh, I really like this game. I played it right when it came out, and so I don't I didn't know anything that was being said about this game like online. I just remember playing it and just having a really good time with it. The opening intro of the game, like with Sandman, I felt was like the best intro of like any Spider-Man game ever. It was really cool to have a game where you're playing as both Peter Parker Spider-Man and Miles Morales Spider-Man. um, there were some really good side quests in the game. The main story I felt was like really good and held up like throughout the course of the game. You had a lot of cool parts, a lot of cool sequences, some great boss battles. I thought the end was really good. Like, yeah, I really like Spider-Man 2. So when people like talk shit about it, it's like, yeah, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. I just If you have a problem with Spider-Man 2, like don't talk about it with me because I it's like I have no idea like what the fuck you're talking about. So I feel like, but this is also like appropriate. I think this is, that to be positioned here and not to take up like the top three. I think that'd be like a really easy thing to do, but there's a reason why these three games will go above them. So I would have to say Spider-Man for PS1 is definitely like number three. And the part of the reason why it goes above the Insomniac Spider-Man games is, like I said, like this was like the first 3D Spider-Man game. This was the first really great Spider-Man game. Even if you played other Spider-Man games like Maximum Carnage or the Sega Genesis ones or the Sega ones, and you're like, wow, these are pretty cool Spider-Man games. Like this was by far the first great Spider-Man game where a lot of care and attention was put into this game. The first fully like 3D Spider-Man game, characters were fully voiced, had great characters, many fucking villains, cutscenes, great level design, Stan Lee narration, cameos. Like this game was so much. Oh, it was also like the first Spider-Man game where you had unlockable outfits. This game is what started that. So yeah, I have to put this game as number three. So then this is the hard part is what do I put for one and two? Because each of these games are fucking great for their own fucking reasons. They're really great. And to be completely honest, I feel like whatever I decide as number one, um, could change um on a different day. um or it's just one and two is so close to each other, it's like almost negligible, because these two games are, again, like there's just really, really great games for their own reasons, and they're also completely different games. Like Ultimate Spider-Man is, the open world game, but it also brings out like a lot of things that I liked about that PS1 Spider-Man game, is present in this Ultimate Spider-Man game. And again, it just has great story, characters. You could play as Venom. boss battles, the art design, graphics, like everything is just like really really good. For sure, like of the open world Spider-Man games, like I think this one's the best. And then you have Shattered Dimensions, which is like a game that has just great level design, so many fucking bosses that you fight through. um you know, the the story, the voice work, the attention to detail for like each Spider-Man, the fact that they each have their own gameplay design, their own art design, their own look, like yeah. So with that being said, I think this is hard, but I think for 1 and 2, I'm gonna have to go with this. So number 2 is gonna be Spider-Man Shattered Dimension, and number 1 is Ultimate Spider-Man. So this is the list. Number 10, we got Amazing Spider-Man. Number 9, Maximum Carnage. Number 8, Spider-Man the video game. Number 7, Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Number 6, Marvel Spider-Man. Number 5, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 4, Marvel Spider-Man 2. Uh, Number 3, Spider-Man for the PS1. Number 2, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. And number 1, Ultimate Spider-Man. So, yeah, this might be a weird top 10 list for people because this game is up here so high above these ones, and the other Spider-Man 2 is nowhere to be seen on this list. And yeah, I'm not concerned because no one is definitely for sure getting this far into this video to give me any shit about that. So I'm not worried. But overall, I mean, this is all about my personal preferences. So I think I'm pretty happy and satisfied with this list. So yeah. All right. Well, I think this is a good time to end it. I've been at this for like an hour and a half now. So um yeah, I mean this is pretty cool. Like I think I had a good time like making this list. Um Definitely like to do this again. Maybe the next one will be like for fighting games or something. Like that'd be crazy. Like top 10 fighting games. Because like I played a lot of fighting games, especially like on stream. I played like 30 fighting games last year. Um on, on stream. So there'll probably be games on the top 10 that I probably haven't gotten to stream though, but other than that, I think that'd be pretty crazy, dude. Top 10 fighting games, like an all-time fighting game. Damn. Damn. But yeah, that'll definitely have to wait like another time. But for now, um I think the next video will probably be, I don't know, I might talk shit about something. Um but yeah, I don't know. Not sure what that's gonna be, but definitely won't be Spider-Man related. Yeah, definitely won't be Spider-Man related. So, but yeah. So I think this will be it for this video. Um, I would say like, hey, tell me what you think, but no one's gonna get this far. No one's gonna get this far because if they did get this far, oh, they will tell me what the fuck they think. They will tell me like, oh, how fucking dare you? Like, first off, put this game above these games, or maybe not having like this game like number one or something, or not even having like fucking Spider-Man 2. But you're not gonna get this far. So you can't tell me what you think because you're not gonna get this far. Unless like you fast forward, then you cheated. You fucking cheater. But I don't blame you either. So um And then, I would say, if you enjoyed this video, which I doubt, I would say like and subscribe. But if you're on YouTube, I'm pretty sure you fucking know how like and subscribe works. Like, I don't understand like why people need to like constantly like fucking be like, oh, please like and subscribe. Like, they know it's fucking there. If they want to like your shit, they'll like it. They want to subscribe to you, they'll fucking subscribe to you. You don't have to fucking tell them to do shit, motherfucker. So, anyways, yeah. So that'll be the end of the video. I guess tune in or not tune in for my next video, whatever that might be. But all right. So I guess take care and hopefully see you next time. Later.